Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. I don't know if many of you are aware Donald Trump is doing what he calls a financial reset. And this has been going on since around October. In fact, I'm going to show you an article from back then. Let's see if I can get this up on the screen. Okay. So if you think to yourself, it seems like Donald Trump is purposely trying to destroy this place, then you would be correct. You would be correct. Not only does he want to reset financially here in the US, he wants this to be global. All right. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have confidence in Donald Trump like that. And I just don't know how a 34 convicted felon is going to reset things and make it better. And number two, what kind of reset and the same people are in place? You might, that to me, that's a shakeup. That's not a reset. So, anyway, this is what his intentions were coming in to office back when he won in 2024. So they have been moving forward with this, you know, and, I think many of us are fully aware that this stuff was going on behind the scenes. And that was also a big reason for the tariffs that he put out, because he was hoping the tariffs would kind of change things on a financial scale. I don't think it did. It ran off a lot of people. That's why US goods are not selling anymore. But, so this is what's going on. And now that we're in 2026, you're probably going to see big changes coming real soon. So, y'all, let me just stop sharing. Let me. Okay. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Oh, yeah. There are many economists that feel what Donald Trump is doing, because I've been kind of keeping up with this. And there's a lot of economists that feel that Donald Trump is taking a big risk, and what he's doing may not work at all. And it can set the country back and actually make everything far worse than what we're looking at right now. So I have seen those articles as well. Mm. But it's not Donald Trump. We know the Most High is really pushing Donald Trump to do these things, because this system must be destroyed. This Gentile system must go. And these are just more steps for it to be completely destroyed. You know, these things that they attempt in these final days are not going to work. It is just not going to work. All right, y'all.
Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that Paul and others are straightening it out. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade.
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the way the world will be, here in the, I mean, maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities, the bonds, across the board.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification.
Trump's next move is about to shock the United States of America. It's about to shock the world. And a lot of people aren't really prepared for what it is that's coming. There is a fight. There's been a fight ever since 1971. Why is 1971 Richard Nixon? Remember the Nixon shock? There's a lot of people that are going to watch this video that remember that. But what's about to happen is something that we didn't really imagine. See, gold and silver are at extreme highs. Gold is all the way at $4,700 per ounce. Meanwhile, you have silver all the way at about $94 per ounce. And we're talking about 150%, gold at over 450% in the last year. That's alarming. There's a lot of people that are watching that hold gold, that have been holding gold. They just got very rich. But that's a rotation into gold and silver because the dollar is not to be trusted anymore. The dollar has lost 10% of its value in the last year, and it has lost 97% of its purchasing power ever since inception. So what a lot of people don't realize, and I need you guys to really listen, is that this is a problem that has been existing way before Trump. This is way before Trump. We are $38 trillion in debt. So what is Trump doing? This is what we really need to talk about, because a lot of people don't understand what Trump is doing. Trump is doing what everybody or anybody that would have won this presidency would have been advised to do. He's doing it his way. Very loud, in front of everybody's faces, nothing to hide, nothing to lie about. Kamala would have been advised to do the same thing. Again, I'm not sure she would have took Maduro out for political reasons, but let's say Ron DeSantis would have won. Ron DeSantis would have been advised to do the same thing. So Trump's plan is to basically become more powerful by taking over the Western Hemisphere. And by taking it over, trying to make these deals. Let's go to Greenland. Why is Greenland so important? Well, Greenland's very important because of critical minerals, the fight for AI, the race for AI. Those critical minerals are also minerals that are used to make our military better, right? Trump even said our military is too slow. So while other countries around the world, you know what they're doing? Other countries around the world, they're trying their best. Let me say, BRICS, right? Which is the BRICS alliance. They're trying their best to basically form an alliance that is independent of the United States of America. The United States of America, the reason why we're in this mess is because of 1971. The moment that we took the dollar off the gold standard, we begin to print to become a richer country. While we took every other country's gold in 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement. The Bretton Woods Agreement is the alliances getting together, right? Not only getting together, but coming on, giving the United States all the gold that they have, right? The alliances, France, Sweden, all these alliances. And they were going to basically, because the United States is so powerful after World War II, that they were just basically just, hey, here you go. We'll take your receipt, which is the dollar, and we'll basically exchange it for gold. And then in 1971, we went off the gold standard because we need to print more money. We need to get richer and more powerful. So Trump knows this. I've been talking about this because it's so important to really understand what's really happening. Why do you see gold and silver going up? Well, people are hedging. There's a lot of boomers. Like the richest class in the world are pretty much people in their 70s, 80s, 60s. There's a lot of rich people and wealthy people in their 50s. Most of them, they don't believe in Bitcoin. They don't believe in crypto. They don't even know what Bitcoin is, right? But that's not the point. That's just pretty much where they go when they want a scarce asset to hold their value, because they know that there's a great collapse coming. And this is where Trump says, we need to make sure that none of these countries get off the dollar standard. We need to make sure we have all the gold that we say we have in Fort Knox. We need to make sure that we are the world's reserve currency. But in order to be the world's reserve currency, you have to operate in a deficit. You have to operate, in a debt-based system. So that's where Canada comes in. System is broken.
Homes are built for people, not for corporations, and America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes. It's just not fair to the public. They're not able to buy a house. And I'm calling on Congress to pass that ban into permanent law, and I think they will. One of the biggest barriers to saving for a down payment has been surging credit card debt. The profit margin for credit card companies now exceeds 50%, one of the biggest. And they charge Americans interest rates of 28%, 30%, 31%, 32%. Whatever happened to usury? So to help our citizens recover from the Biden disaster, all caused by this horrible precedent, I'm asking Congress to cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 1 year. And this will help millions of Americans save.
President Trump just delivered a major blow to the globalist system with the introduction of the Board of Peace. Trump's view is simple. The world isn't ending. We're not running out of everything. And the answer isn't trying to shrink humanity for the elites. The answer is production. We need more energy, more resources, and more building. If people want to live better, you don't tell them to consume less and accept it. You ramp up production so that there's enough for everyone. That's how civilizations grow. And this thinking applies to war too. Trump pushing the new Board of Peace to deal with conflicts like Gaza and Israel, it's one that avoids the endless wars and the backroom global alliances. The goal isn't to have a NATO-style forever conflict. It's direct deals. That's why Europe's old power structure is losing relevance. The globalist system that controlled everything for decades, it's breaking down. So what's replacing it is straightforward. People who want to build and grow, people who still believe in advancing civilization instead of slowing it down. They want control. Trump wants growth. That's your choices.
So in light of all of the conversation we've been having about the military in Greenland and China and everything that we've been talking about on my page, during the whole C-19 phase and the jab, right at the beginning of that, remember, Justin Trudeau was in charge of Canada. And if you know, Canada is pretty much a doorway for China. And Trudeau was cozying up to China a lot back then in that time. This was about 5 years ago. Trudeau over Canada created a door for China. That's how fentanyl was coming in through that border so heavily, because he pretty much just left that open and was trafficking that through there, allegedly. One of the things that Trudeau caught a lot of flack about, and I don't see people mention it much, is he was trying to train with China. He wanted to have cold weather training with the PLA, and he caught a lot of flack for that because people started questioning, why are you trying to train with China purposely in cold weather and teach them strategies and how to get in and out? Why are you doing this? If I'm not mistaken, he ended up canceling that whole situation, but it ended up being a big news story, because what people don't realize is that during that whole time of the C-19, where everybody was locked in their houses and they couldn't go anywhere, China was moving around the world. China was making deals. They were doing all kind of backdoor deals during that time. Now, if we put that together with what we're seeing now, it's like they're trying to continue that plan, but now they have to do it in a roundabout way. And when I say they, I'm talking about America, the Democratic elites and politicians. They have to find a workaround to get what they wanted to happen now. But they cannot seem to stop Trump, because he's canceling everything. He's restructuring everything, and he's keeping them held back from what they wanted to do. But they're trying to hold on to whatever they can until they can remove him out of the way. But had not Donald Trump been elected, it would have already been set up to just fall in place. America would have just drowned in chaos. Notice this: Canada, Europe, Australia, America, Africa, they're all dealing with the invasion of the Islamist jihadists, etc. You don't hear China complaining about that. Just a point of interest. God bless.
We're about to lose everything. The dollar, crypto, and stocks are crashing. But this crash can retire you and me on February 10th if you pay attention for the next 60 seconds. Crypto is down massively. Gold and silver is crashing. The dollar hit a 4-year low. But if we take a closer look, we can see uranium pumping higher every day. Now, let me tell you how this will retire us. Keep listening. Elon Musk just said uranium is crucial for the future of fast, long, deep space exploration. Trump just announced he's going heavy into nuclear energy utilizing uranium. The US government has plans of pouring billions of dollars into boosting uranium enrichment with plans to tokenize it. Because uranium isn't optional, it's used for nuclear energy and nuclear weapons. And in a world full of wars, this becomes one of the most valuable resources on Earth. But this is the craziest part. In just 8 days, on February 10th, the first uranium tokenized project will be announced by Elon Musk at the Advanced Reactor Summit in Seattle. So I started digging early, and that's when I found something insane. The US government wallet added a new coin to their list called FUEF. I instantly hopped on Deck Screener. Right here you can see FUEF, Federal Uranium Enrichment Fund, and the market cap sits around $1.1 million. But this is what made my heart stop. One of the top holders' wallet is literally labeled Musk Team. That strongly suggests Elon Musk could be directly connected to this project. This is not a coincidence. The US government, together with Elon Musk, might have officially launched the first tokenized Federal Uranium Enrichment Fund on Solana. Comment uranium for the contract address, I'll pin it.
Well, we better buckle up, because what we just saw over the past 48 hours and just 1 week after President Trump came back from that globalist enclave of Davos, we are watching a new world order unfolding right before our eyes. And I'm not being hyperbolic about it, because this past Friday, we witnessed the start of the Great Reset. 3 million Epstein files dumped on us, which are disgusting and disturbing, to say the least. We also on Friday saw the biggest one-day drop in the precious metals market in history. And right now, as I'm recording this on this Sunday morning, files. But if you look over here, there's something massive happening that's resetting everything right now. So I want to connect the dots for you today with 4 key parts of this story as I see them, okay? 4 key parts. But first, some context here, because on Friday, President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh as the new Fed chairman. And yes, there's a lot of baggage that comes with this guy. Heck, the guy's in the freaking Epstein files. Like, couldn't have picked another guy? Anyway, I'm going to do a deep dive on him soon, but not in today's video. But just so you understand, he hates stimulus money, this Kevin Warsh. He hates stimulus. He hates quantitative easing. He voted against it. He thinks correctly that it pushes inflation higher. Could have used him during the Biden years. He also changed his mind on interest rates. He used to believe that higher interest rates were good for the US dollar, not any longer. He also believes the Fed shouldn't hold this much debt on its balance sheets. He wants the Fed to slash its balance sheets, which will also lead to lower interest rates. So this is a huge move. And this move, though, means that we are effectively in a new dollar era right now. The globalists are terrified of us owning any kind of precious metals, dumping US dollars. So everything is changing right now before our eyes. So along with this new dollar era, we are in a new petrodollar era. And this is important because if you're paying attention to the last cabinet meeting, the United States is now the largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world. This means the new petrodollar structure isn't sitting in Saudi Arabia anymore. It's now in the United States. And the trifecta here that just happened is a new plan for the US dollar at the Fed, the precious metals market dropping like a bomb thanks to speculators dumping their holdings and everyone taking profits, and then the US control over the petrodollar, energy policy. So all of this just happened basically on Friday. The petrodollar system was controlled by OPEC, were the source of endless Middle Eastern wars. This has now changed, meaning no one can shake Washington down on energy anymore. We produce more than you do. That makes every American 1,000 times safer as long as we don't continue to do Israel's bidding and bomb Middle East countries. We'll see what Trump does there. If you really want to make America safe, stop listening to that demon Netanyahu and actually bring our troops home out of the Middle East, 50,000 of them back to the U.S. We've got our own.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see all of the things that come up. And this stuff, we should start seeing a lot more of it as we move along. And yeah, they have already started, and you will see and feel these changes coming up. I mean, we already see what's going on with the silver and gold. That is pretty much makes the news almost on a regular basis. So we already see that. But like I said, I never have and I never will trust Donald Trump and the elites, the ones behind the scenes that are pulling the strings, because we know they will never have our best interests at heart. And whatever they do in this country financially will only benefit them. It won't benefit anyone else. So, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I deeply appreciate it. And thank you. I did get a few more donations this morning, which is putting me closer to my goal. And I thank you all for that. I thank you. I did get some Cash Apps, PayPal's, but not recently, about a week ago. And and I also got one, and I totally forgot about my GoFundMe, which is still up. I got something from there. So thank you all, because my surgery date is coming. I can't believe it's February already, but it will be here soon. So thank you. I deeply appreciate you. Just a reminder, we got the hair growth butter that is 30% off on Shopify, Etsy, and TikTok. So you can go to any one of my shops and get it for 30% off. So, y'all, I will see you later on another topic. Shalom, family.